So sometimes I don't brush my hair. No, I'm serious. I don't. And it just it does this, and it gets knotted, and that happens to me sometimes. I just get sad. I think, but my sadness takes up too much time. So instead of being sad, I just like I just took a tiny sip, so tiny, and I just appoint that time that I would take to be sad, and I just do something else. So since brushing my hair would make me sad, I just ignore it, and it just you know it does that. I can not put my finger through. It is totally knotted. And there was so many times that I did that, and then I had to cut my hair. And I usually have short hair because I mean this would happen to me if my hair was long. But my wife would normally have really long hair. So since I'm single and I didn't have a family um, growing up, and I was just by myself, um, and no one knew me, then I have long hair because it looks nice when I brush it, and it is healing and stuff. So this video is just to show how long it takes to like to make my hair come back out unknotted. um it's very fair hair. It's it's straight. It's has waves in it, but they're optional. I don't have to have waves. I can just have very straight hair, and it's light, and it's supposed to be the color gold. And my eyebrows are black, and my hair was black my whole life, and then I um, just washed my hair in some really healthy pool water one time. Some healthy ass pool water, and it's after I washed it with some hydrogen peroxide too. Before that happens, before I washed it in the pool water, I washed it with some hydrogen peroxide, and that's why it's a little bit red. It looks like a red hue, but it's really more on the brown spectrum. And now my hair, it grows in brown. It doesn't grow in black. It grows in brown. And I had a few hairs that were just one, I think up to three strands of hair that were growing in blonde golds, but they stopped and started growing in brown before I ever went into the pool and washed my hair in the chlorine of the pool. Yeah, I had an infection. I was really sick, so I I was dying. And I was making dying people hair, and I had black hair. My eyebrows are still. My eyebrows are black. They're not brown at all. They're not gonna be. They're not gonna be brown. I think by the time I figure out how to finish cleaning my hair, and my hair will be completely growing in 100%, very light brown. My eyebrows will just be brown, and they won't. I think it's hard to tell, really, honestly. But anyway, so I just I go a while. I just don't even wash it sometimes because I just if I take a shower, it will take up so much of my time that I will be sad, and it's almost not a choice. It's almost I'm not being mean by not taking a shower to other people because I would smell. It's just it's hurts to be sad. You know, it hurts to be sad. I don't know how to explain that, but it physically does somehow. It's like a neurological, just the brain receptors or whatever. Very, very informational. Anyway, so what we're doing now is I'm just gonna lay there, and I'm just gonna take the knot out, and we're going to see how long it actually does take to take knots out of my hair if I have them like that. Like the whole thing is a giant knot. And these other ones are like little knots. These ones are little knots. And that's the thing. So I just got to rest. I'm watching TV and you are watching YouTube. So yeah, that's what we're doing today. I brought up the news. I'll just put up the news real quick. That's what it is. I don't want you to watch this thing. I'm watching. You put on Sky News. Sky News must be looking at one bit of
for the killing of Hezbollah chief Hassan Nasrallah.
This is Yom Kippur, that's the Day of Atonement in the Jewish calendar, and that is the day when religious Jews stay at their homes, they reflect and they atone for their sins. Traffic is banned from the streets.
3-day weekend. I was making $1,000 paychecks. Oh my god, I was making $1,000 a week paycheck from my job at the bakery. I was like killing it. I was making so much money. And like I just told them I was like, maybe we can do overtime, but it not take one of my 3-day weekends because I have something I have to do. And it was just my hair. Because it could take like a day. I have to make sure when I take it out, when I'm taking out the knot, that it never hurts me. It doesn't hurt me because the pain receptors and the depression are connected somewhere in the brain organ. So that's why it takes so long, because we don't hold the hair.
And there are a range of options that Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu will be reflecting on this day of reflection. So he's been offered.
I'm thinking it's going to take about 50 minutes.
Facilities. The risk with that is if it doesn't
take longer than that
that's thought to be impossible without American support, which has been ruled out.
When I was younger,
Iran's ambition to build the bomb, so that could be counterproductive. A strike on Iran's oil facilities, so an economic target,
30 times a year.
It could be punishing to the Iranian regime.
And now that I'm older, it happens like
maybe rally around that
once every 2 years.
Could lead to much bigger escalation. Also, as the Iranians say, that could lead to them attacking the Emirates over the Persian Gulf, and that could draw on America to defend those Gulf states. So that's perilous as well. The other option being advocated by people like former Prime Minister Hezbollah is to go after Iran's military facilities. It's barracks, it's secret police bases, those symbols of what is a hated, reviled regime in Iran that's lost most of its legitimacy, having crushed that unrest that you've seen there for years. So that might be a potential compelling argument to go after those targets as well, but obviously not without the risk of escalation. So while the war in Gaza it seems to be going on a loop, particularly for the people of Jabalia, there are lots of civilians being killed as Israel has launched its third ground offensive there in a year, and also Lebanese civilians been ordered further north as the invasion of Lebanon, Israeli invasion of Lebanon intensifies. While that's all going on from north to south, we could see a much bigger war erupt potentially, depending on what the Israeli government decides to do after this Day of Atonement.
More on that breaking news this afternoon, that a person has died after falling overboard from a cruise ship off the Channel Islands that was on its way to Southampton. Let's get the latest with our correspondent Ashla Arinag, who's in the studio with me this afternoon. So Ashla, there's been fast moving developments some more information coming into us. What more can you tell us now? Yeah, distressing news coming from those of the Channel Islands and also France. French Coast Guard received a distress call from a vessel about 2 o'clock in the morning in the early hours, informing them a person had gone overboard. It's understood they fell from a cruise ship sailing near the Channel Islands, just north of Le Casquet. It prompted this emergency services rescue operation, including vessels from the French Navy, their helicopter involved, supported by the Channel Island aircraft, search and rescue operations from there. Also vessels from France, neighbouring Guernsey and Alderney also sent to this search location that lasted around 30 to 33 minutes. It's understood that the body of this person was lifted out of the water just after 2:30. They were taken to Normandy where they were pronounced dead. The person, as I say, was on board a cruise ship named NCS Virtuosa, apologies. It's a Maltese flag vessel, 3 years old, about 331 metres long, 18 decks, has a passenger capacity of some 6,300 people, and regularly travels to mainland Europe, Portugal, Spain, and also the Caribbean. About in the last hour or so, one person has been found dead after falling overboard a cruise ship. Ashna, thank you. Now, the UK's fertility rate is falling faster than some of the world's richest countries, according to data commissioned by Sky News. Experts have warned the trend could lead to an ageing population and a greater reliance on immigration to support the workforce. US business correspondent Adele Robinson reports. How was your sleep?
They hold our future in their hands.
Good. Yeah.
The children who will grow up and support an economy.
We've got lots of babies, hey?
But Emily Kate's decision not to have any more is one many parents are
Great news story. It's really
one though that may signal a decline in the nation's finances.
Who's this?
It's a baby.
As the fertility rate, the average number of children women have, drops.
And do you think that you'd like a brother or sister?
Yeah.
Emily Kate says it's not a choice.
Earlier, I was outside with my hair with
It's heartbreaking, really, because we always wanted a big family, and we made the decision last year because of financial reasons. I'd love to have a sibling for Violet. She is desperate for a sibling as well, but yeah, financially at the moment with nursery costs, it's impossible.
She and her husband work full time and still can't afford to have another child.
I want to prove to Violet and show Violet in life that if you work hard, you can. And at the moment, I feel like being brutally honest, I'm falling a little bit short.
I keep saying, like, I want to look and find one that's really good.
My friends have got kids that are with siblings, and
The same amount of money, yeah, we'll do like some stuff.
I want to give Violet everything. Sorry.
Sky News commissioned analysis found that the UK has seen the biggest proportion fall in fertility rates across G7 countries
I would
since
normally have
2010.
very short
The
hair.
UK is at
It's my
red on the
mom.
right with an 18.8% drop.
Places with higher deprivations, that's poorer parts of the country, saw faster falls in the fertility rate. And we think that that demonstrates the impact of government cuts to family policy, to social security spending.
One symptom of all this, school closures like this one in County Durham. This is an extreme example of what's happening. It's a remote
That
area,
came
and
out,
pupil numbers were down
but I
to just
don't know why
5.
it was
But we're
not.
starting to see more
It
schools
didn't
across the country
explain
closing,
not
with
why
multiple
it
reasons for
not
that.
been.
One of the big ones is lower fertility rates. The economic risk, a feature with more pensioners than working age people. Some argue it will mean a greater reliance on immigration to support the workforce, but not everyone is worried about the statistics.
The decisions that were made are in significant part a reflection of very good developments over recent decades. Better job opportunities for women. There are as many women now going to higher education as men. And I think it's better to make it easier for people to work later in life and extend working lives. Rather than, in a sense, try and bribe women to have more children than they might want to at the moment.
Regardless, a lower fertility rate will change the shape of the population, as having more children becomes a choice many simply can't afford. Adele Robinson, Sky News.
This is Sky News Today. Coming up, A warning, Britain's theatres are still failing black artists behind the scenes.
I'm Stuart Ramsey, and I'm Sky's chief correspondent.
My name is a 6-month-old. Well, that's the kneecap, but I don't know why.
Hundreds and hundreds of people hoping to get north, ultimately to get to the United
It's
States.
a deal on.
It's a border where they're not welcome, yet they keep coming.
Grabbing people, taking them out, and putting them into trucks and taking them away.
It's so sick of her a week. I've experienced that color becoming a little corner after I ate like a lot of food, and I was thinking about it, sending the nutrients to the hair. It just turned out. It's really surreal.
It's now all your territory.
Very fun.
Battlefield is outside the barricades, which is over there. It's much more like a
Soon.
town.
Just
We're being crushed. Free. From wherever you get your news. We are in the middle of the forest, in a jungle really, and they're attempting to keep these men alive. This is real, hardcore emergency medicine. The information on this could bring down the entire network, not just in Iraq and Syria, but across the world. Sky News, the full story first. Hundreds of thousands of people have been using the beach for years to traverse Mexico, but it's really dangerous. Many people have died riding it.
Significant day of this conflict, and this is what's left of it.
Why only in America? People want their country to war. I want to drop in another line.
Why are these homes
Here on the ground in America, from my couch,
The full
telling you the
story
news.
first. Free wherever you get your news.
you getting the news from me, or you got from the world?
America divided.
You're not even looking at the screen.
Get ready for an election like no other.
Join our teams
This
as we
one
follow
right
the
here,
campaign
this is
trails as America decides.
We will win. Get closer to the action this US election with full reaction and analysis.
Sky News, the full story first.
There's always more to the news than a headline. We want to discover, to delve a little deeper, to find out
I believe
what's going on. Explanation, analysis, the people at the heart of every story. I'm Neil Patterson.
I literally
and
asked her, I
is
said,
the Sky News Daily Podcast. So, by the end,
This is
you
not
hopefully
what
all
it's videos
understand
anyway.
what's going on in the world. Just after.
but she could play this video, so
Whatever you get.
this is US today.
Talk about nearly 3/4 of black theatre professionals say they've been the victim of racial discrimination. A new report by the Black British Theatre Awards found those applying for jobs offstage are at a particular disadvantage. Sky's Sarah Jodry has more.
Welcome.
With shows like The Lion King, MJ the Musical, and Aladdin gracing London's Broadway, theatre today may seem somewhat diverse and representative of wider society. But according to new data, behind the stage door tells another story. Over 3/4 of black theatre professionals surveyed said racial bias is rife in theatre.
Bias is
More than half say they were racially discriminated against when applying for jobs. And over 70% say this comes down to lack of representation and understanding of diverse experiences.
It's undeniable, it's factual, the research is there.
For Ben, the statistics on racial bias are shocking, but sadly not surprising.
It looks like people being passed over for jobs. It looks like a lack of training. It looks like a lack of opportunity. It's having to answer questions that have got nothing to do with me. I'm Black Caribbean. I can't speak to the Black African experience. There's no routes to change that, no support to change that stuff.
That must be exhausting.
Tell me about it. It's so exhausting. It's a fight every day.
While the report says that diversity on stage is
That's just
definitely
how I brush my hair, I
improving,
think,
it does,
to
however,
myself.
stress that it's offset.
Like,
So
just last
women in
week
the
I was
audience
like, if I don't
clearly
brush my hair,
sees where
it
the
will
real
not.
work needs to be done.
And
Solange Erdang is behind the data and says the problem is top down, and that
It will
diversity in the arts
hours.
is critical for authentic storytelling.
All the big bosses are white in theatre. A black show to have a white musical director just doesn't seem to make sense. Why is that happening? Is that quite common? Yeah.
see, I
And
roll
white
in my bed when I'm
characters grow up in a black show. Until that's
just
acknowledged by
trying
the
to
whole
find those
industry,
comfortable spot.
I don't think much can be done.
Trying to train
So
while I'm
Solange
sitting
hopes
my
for
body.
more funding and
My leg,
opportunities
I want my
to make
leg
the
to be
arts more
really strong
accessible.
on this leg, and I want it to be like strong over here on this side. I'll just do it. I'll just do it. On my convenience.
And will continue to make noise, song and dance if you will, to get black people in the arts a seat at the table,
you
both
know, I
on
would just
and
cut my
off
hair.
stage. Summer Channel Skies.
Kind of close. That's kind of
Okay, let's
close.
take a look at the weather across the UK for you now. Things will turn much
Buzzing.
milder next week, but in the meantime, the cold weather continues for the rest of the weekend. Earlier showers will tend to clear this
Girls will
evening,
buzz
but
her
are
look
likely to linger
because
over
I
parts
have
of
a reason for
Scotland.
wanting it to
Winds
be
will over
buzzed
the
that
hills
close.
that will feel
Otherwise,
quite
it's kind of
cold
long.
with a brisk wind as the showers ease overnight. Most places will turn dry and chilly
I mean,
under
like,
clear
comment back.
skies. Watching Sky News today, coming up, a huge surprise in Westminster. Stay with us for politics hub highlights, including the shock defeat of James Cleverly from the Tory leadership race. And then, of course, the headlines at the top of the hour with James Secker on NewsHour.
My time now, my happy place.
Ladies got to brightly.
Bring your deck when you pop that is.
Gonna get paid so delighted.
Solitaire que soleil.
Chocomorphina,
Solitaire cat all day.
Here's the deal. You're losing 1% of your skin's collagen each year starting in your 20s. That's why you need me, your collagen maker. Collagen Main strengthens the collagen you have and builds the collagen you don't. For plump and glowing skin.
Actually, make collagen. It's a, like, use. What's this? We don't have it. That's what it is. It's just 43 degrees in Colombo. Watch out, everyone. I don't know what it is. That's what the guy is. Okay, that one came out. Those titties. Those are the much. So it's a part of my arm.
We've got your Sunday mornings covered. From the front page.
I know when I argue with other people online that they don't know that their opinion is enacted by somebody somewhere and that does physically affect me. They just think like, I can do that if I want to because that's it.
I'm ready.
The person can have
Join me
it's really weird.
Sunday mornings on Sky News.
Hello and welcome to this week's Politics Hub highlights. Well, this week there was a huge surprise in Westminster. The shock to think of James Cleverly in the Conservative leadership race. The former Home Secretary looked like he was the frontrunner, only to be overtaken by both Kevin Badenoch and Robert Jenrick during Wednesday's vote. That led to a lot of head scratching about whether his team had thrown it away. But what was clear was that the party's MPs lived up to their reputation as the most duplicitous and unpredictable electorate in the world. Here's our report from Sky's political editor, Better
This the moment and a massive upset.
Kevin Badenoch, 42 votes. James Cleverly, 37 votes. And Robert Jenrick, 41 votes.
Audible gasps from MPs as James Cleverly, who had looked set for the final, is knocked out of the Tory leadership race. Conservative MPs voted instead for a Kevin Badenoch-Robert Jenrick runoff. Cleverly's backers can barely believe it.
I'm still slightly in a state of disappointed shock. I'd signed James's nomination paper. I encouraged him to stand. I was firmly behind him. So I'm very disappointed.
Shock because Cleverly had become the frontrunner after a successful party conference. But now the last centrist standing has been knocked out. The next leader of the party will come from the right. Badenoch now in pole position once more.
It is time to go bold. Just because we're not a first preference doesn't mean that people don't want you. And I think that is what has happened throughout the contest. You can say that about any candidate. People have relationships, people have friends, they have constituency neighbours. These things feed into the MP stage of the contest. What matters now is what our members think.
Her rival Robert Jenrick less popular with party members, but he's hoping his hardline immigration stance wins out.
I want the party to once again occupy the common ground of British politics, which means fixing our NHS, finding ways to grow our economy, and yes, to secure our borders and control and reduce immigration. On each of these areas, I've got a real plan.
What are you talking? I don't know about nuts in my hair. What are you talking about?
Ahead. Absolutely brutal is how one of his supporters put it to me. So what went wrong? Well, it seems that some of his supporters, so certain their man would make the final two, decided to shift their votes to try and stop Badenoch or Jenrick, and in doing so killed off their own candidates. The Conservative Party will now
this is my favorite brush.
by a right winner,
This is called
and that's leaving Labour MPs
The
rubbing
Knot
their
Doctor
hands
by Conair.
freely.
And it doesn't pull my hair. I really love to brush my hair with this brush. And I said it like a million times, like, I'm so glad I have this brush. My hair will never knot now that I have this brush. And since I used it, this is the first time this has happened to me. But it just has to do with how I sleep. So, yeah, this brush is so nice.
And since Wednesday's results, I caught up with him shortly afterwards in Parliament's central lobby. It has been, frankly, a complete roller coaster of an election. You must have been a bit worried.
That I am just delighted to have got so much support from parliamentary colleagues today, and now to be through to the next round and taking my message to the members again across the country. And that's exactly what I want to do. I've spent the summer setting out my vision for our party and our country, which is one of change. I want the party to once again occupy the common ground of British politics, which means fixing our NHS, finding ways to grow our economy, and yes, to secure our borders and control and reduce immigration.
On each of these areas, I've got a real plan. I don't trade in platitudes. I have a plan as to how we provide serious, competent leadership for our party and ultimately for our country.
Okay, so what is the one reason that members should vote for you rather than Kemi Bateman?
Well, I have a plan. I have a detailed plan as to how we're
You
going to take forward
never have
these
long
issues.
hair.
She doesn't.
You're kind of shite.
I don't think the Conservative Party should trade in platitudes. I don't want it to go down rabbit holes.
She's right there.
What I
Your wife
want
is
it to be
right
is a
there. She has
serious
long
party
hair.
with credible and
Of course you don't need
competent
to have long
leadership
hair.
and focus on the
My wife is
whole
not
range of
here.
issues that the public care about the most. How do we improve the quality of care for patients in our NHS? How do we drive up living standards for people across this country by getting real growth again? And how do we fix our borders?
I do that, sorry.
Which I've talked about so carefully in recent months.
What's their comment? It means nothing. When
Now,
people tell me
it's
something and
almost
they just like, they have their opinion and it hurts my feelings, I
Things
might
are
go
gonna get a
on
bit
by
dirty,
myself
aren't they?
and argue with it, but I don't normally argue with them
Absolutely. And that's
because
the way
there's
I
no way for
fought
them
this
to
campaign
know
now for 3 months.
So when you sack
You know,
any members of your team who are briefing negatively, or
That's not the way.
why their opinion
That's one of the
would
reasons
bother
why
me.
I
And if they
support
get no,
so many
then
parliamentary colleagues
why does it
from all
matter if they
different
tell
wings
me?
of the party. That's one of the reasons I've worked in the government of 5 Conservative Prime Ministers, because I work with people well, I'm a collegiate person, but I also want to provide direction for this party. We need to be more conservative.
It kind
We
of
need to
goes
ensure we
on.
occupy that
It
common
does.
ground,
I swear.
politics once more.
So let's be honest. You've had a bit of a roller coaster couple of weeks. You
I could
started
be
off
the
as
girl.
a red hot favourite. You were growing.
The hair is
with
supporting
members,
that condition,
and then
even if
conference
it's not
happened.
normal.
And
That
let's be
means I
honest,
get
you
like
didn't
that
go
too.
quite to plan. Were you a little bit frustrated that you didn't cut through in the way you wanted to? Obviously.
Well, I don't know that, Sophie, because when I started this contest, we were rank outsiders.
But what about
Nobody
concepts?
just a few months ago, no one would have predicted we would be in this position today.
I understand, the picture. I know you're kind of keen to get the message across, but genuinely, were you a bit disappointed with how conference went?
Well, I don't think it's always easy to deliver the message that I delivered at conference, which was not platitudes. The message I delivered was we didn't get everything right when we were in government. There were big issues facing this country that we didn't solve, and we need to be different. I stand for change.
Like, see,
in
this one is
contest,
really
and I
short
stand
compared
for
to
a
the
clear
other
plan.
ones,
I set
because
out
when
in
I was
that
outside, I was
conference
just
5
I just
areas,
threw it on
5
the
big
ground.
changes this country needs. And
There was
unlike
like people
others,
watching me,
I
I was
didn't
mad
just
at
say,
them.
well, we'll mess around, we'll debate them for months or years to come. I said, this is the way we need to go, and I want the party now to coalesce around it, to unite around it, for serious solutions to the big issues facing our country.
I know you've got to go, but just finally.
I will be the Tory leader.
What on earth went on with the voting?
What do you think?
What on earth went on? I can't get my head around the numbers. People going up, people going down. You must know what I mean.
Look, you are a better judge, or as good a judge of this as me. All I can say is, in the privacy of the ballot box, my colleagues put their faith in me to lead this party forward.
There's a bit of sculpture.
Very, very honoured.
I had
and
someone say the
grateful
same
for
thing
that,
to
and I
me
hope
at
I
a
can
Yu-Gi-Oh
trust the
tourney
country
about
with the members of the party.
So it's a
dissing
very
me.
mistrustworthy electorate then.
And I was like, I don't care what you're saying, you're not going to win the next match anyway.
But
And
now
they
what I need to do
lost.
is sell my message of change to the members of the party and
What
most
is your
importantly to the
promise?
public. Because this is not just about
I'm not following the news. I just want you to know.
professional opposition, which is what the public would expect, regardless of how they vote. And then how do we move forward as a country?
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Robert Jenrick speaking to you there earlier this week. Well, as the Conservative Party tries to look towards the future, it's also
Say anything.
looking to the relatively recent past, thanks to the release of Boris Johnson's memoirs. The former Prime Minister sat down with Sky presenter Wilfred Frost this week and talked about two parties.
I knew Robert one time, but his name was Isaac. And he was like a party animal now. And I was like, Isaac, cut your hair.
But what remains
You're
most of
free.
interest
I don't know.
is what brought it to an end.
He was like
Partygate.
schools.
And at times in the book, he appears to dilute his past
Didn't he cut his
apologies.
hair? He got a leather
You
jacket.
wet the
and
nation
he went
of
to
the
the club.
groveling
Made
apologies
friends.
you're
Party
quoting,
freak.
and you
But
the reason it was
he was
just
really
that
polite.
made you seem more culpable than you were.
That's right.
But my question is, do you accept though that people were enormously upset by
Yes.
by Protestant?
So yes, of course. And so that's why I follow the continue to apologise for things that we got wrong. The problem with issuing the blanket that the program making unleashed is that by issuing a great big
I can't
blanket
stand that the breaking news is that one person on the Channel Islands cruise ship. Like, I want to see other news quick. And all you have is that one story. And that person died. They am dead. Why are you doing this to me? Let me hear the other stories. Let me help you.
every single
Well, let me
allegation
help you.
was subsequently made. And I wasn't. I didn't mean to do that.
At times, you seem to mock the public for how closely they followed the rules. You write, the real question, I suppose, is why.
I think, let me read this. I'll take it.
You write, why on earth the public so avidly craved these rules? Why they were so willing to have their doing circumscribed in such rabbinical detail? You go on to say the rules that
I hate it.
people
Like it also scares me because I saw The Grudge and I'm just afraid that it's gonna be like like that. Because I
think the phase during
I
the
don't know.
pandemic.
Like, why did you do that? It's so weird.
So we come out. So we've gone through the first lockdown. We were coming towards the autumn of 2020. I marvelled at the way in which the public were, at least at first, willing to try to absorb these rules in all their detail. It was, and I pay tribute to them.
Given that, and given how you're framing what some people wanted more than others, and how they then followed the rules, you're 126 miles down the street, with some coverage suggesting you're withdrawing an apology for it. Here and now, clarify if you are sorry to those people.
Of course, and I say, in our leak, I try to explain that I made many mistakes.
Make of that what you will.
Boris Johnson speaking to Wilfred Cross there. Coming up on the Politics Hub, on the 40th anniversary of the Brighton bombing, I've been speaking with the daughter of an MP killed in an attack, Jo Barry.
Sports has always brought people together. Watch it together.
It's so interesting what you say. And I'm like that. Sorry.
Talk about it together. All that comes together in sleep, and all these sports that I use. It has everything. Community, live scores.
It might sound like it's breaking sometimes when I pull them apart, but that was a hair that already came out and got wrapped up. Because if I broke it by just pulling it apart, I would stop because it would hurt me.
That happens a lot, but Safe Flight could have helped. A trip repair is faster, cheaper, and easier than a new windshield. And with your insurance, it's usually free. So don't let that chip spoil your trip. Book today.
These actors playing the lead roles were born long after the Sex Pistols broke up.
Are you pleased that you did say yes to the job?
I've never regretted it.
As a team, we've interviewed some of the biggest stars in the world. It can be incredibly surreal being swept up in their world, but we try to give you an honest sense of how these people really are.
Okay, I'll talk to you.
There's no easy goodies. There's no easy baddies.
I've had a great time here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Play Sky News.
From the Sky News Centre at 7.
Now that you're up to date, we can go into a bit more detail. Things can change incredibly quickly.
Taken by surprise.
Have you ever had a moment like this in British politics?
Yes.
Yes, we'll start with the breaking news.
Let's get the latest on the ground.
So, by the end, we'll hopefully all understand what's going on in the world just that minute.
Welcome to the world.
Welcome to
Our new podcast, starting now. It's very exciting. Every week we'll be reporting from the world's trouble spots.
We get to hold those positions
so then I would be like,
and we
what
get
am
to
I
ask
saying?
the questions that the audience, the listeners want to know about.
And that's why it is so important that people tune in, come along for the road, come along for the journey. It'll be fun.
I think I might cut my ends this time. I don't usually do that because the purpose of doing that is so they all be even. But I think that a lot of them are afraid now. So I'm just gonna cut them because don't need them to be afraid. So. Okay.
Why only in America? People want their countries to war. I want to drop it in our life.
Why are these homes?
Honest with people.
Sky News. The full story first. Free wherever you get your news.
I say, bring it on.
In America,
America divided and tensions running high. Get ready for an election like no other.
Join our teams as we follow the campaign trail as America decides.
We will win, win, win. Get closer to the action this US election with full reaction and analysis.
Sky News, the full story first.
Hello, welcome back. Well, today marks the 40th anniversary of the Brighton Hotel bombing. The attack by the IRA in 1984 happened at the Grand Hotel. The venue for that year's Conservative Party conference. 5 people were killed and 34 injured. And among those who lost their lives was Sir Anthony Berry, who was an MP. I've been speaking to his daughter, Jo Berry, who has since become a peace activist, a journey over many years, which saw her meeting and even becoming friends with the man who planted the bomb. Take a listen. Thank you so much for speaking to us today. We really appreciate it. You have the most extraordinary story. It feels to me like it is
So we got
a really
one.
upsetting story, obviously,
This
but
one
also
lock
strangely
here.
uplifting story as well.
This main
And it's all
lock.
about, of course, I guess in many ways it started with the horrific event 40 years ago, the anniversary that we're, of course, be marking on Saturday, the Brighton bomb. Your father was killed.
It's got a weird tinsel.
Yes, yes, he was one of the 5 killed. In 1984, October the 12th, he was staying in the hotel with his wife, my stepmother, and sadly,
Just
they found his body.
They do that?
I adored my dad, 27, and I imagined we'd have decades together. And I didn't just lose him, I lost the sense of me living in peacetime, because that bomb also made me feel like I was part of a war, I was part of violent conflict. How it happened was really important to me. And
It cannot even be
the
tied
shock
up
and
with
the
it.
horror
It's gonna like push it over.
it was massive. And I think because I felt so much trauma, I felt so much pain, just was thinking a lot about other people who experienced this, I made the decision 2 days later. Can I bring something positive out of this? Can I understand those who killed my dad? Because I don't want an enemy. And can I try and be part of a world where people don't get killed? And so a journey started, and it was only 2 days later. But it was it gave me a sense of like there was a journey to go on, rather than sort of being overwhelmed with this loss and shock and horror.
A purpose, it's
yeah, a purpose.
And I'm very keen to talk about your journey. Can I ask, how did you first find out that your dad had been killed?
Well, I found out because I was staying with my sister, and she'd heard
There's
news
no
on
little piece of
the
inside
6
the
o'clock
line.
news that a bomb had gone off at the Grand Hotel. And so she woke me up and said, you know, is Dad staying at the Grand Hotel? And I said, I think he is. I think he moved the day before, and he's there. And so we then had to wait about 8 hours.
When it was like
and
this
my brother was living in
and
Brighton.
just like this is
and
how many nuts
he went to the Grand Hotel to try and find his dad. He was asking people, he was trying to see if anyone had seen him and get news, and eventually he identified
like, see how it's like
sick in the ring, because they shared the ring, same one. And so he
very
rang us
happy.
up, and he rang us up and said, yeah,
I can't go outside today.
you know, go and tell my half brother and half sister that
We'll go
their
for a
mum's
future
injured and their dad's dead. And these
Nice and
days, that wouldn't happen. We'd be support and professionals, but we would just on our own, just going off to these schools to let them know what had happened and then take them to their aunts. So it was a day if someone said they basically make it be forgotten. And so it was like, it's like frozen in time because it was so intense, that waiting, that hoping against hope. Yes, maybe even longer, just hoping they were going to find him. And we were watching the news trying to see if we could perhaps see him, maybe he slipped into the conference. But then, I suppose as the day went on, the hope faded.
What was your dad like?
He was a real family man. He had 6 children, and he loved nothing more than having them all together. And making sure everyone was happy was really important to him. And he was also the kind of politician that
This is like the perfect step that you need to certify your
parents wasn't
like
didn't
that.
matter who people had voted for. He was there for everyone. And I remember
Dude, this is an
the
hairstyle. That
child
is God.
going
I'm
to
like,
places
I'm done.
in Southgate when he was only
This is the hairstyle. We'll just be
Interesting.
just be outside.
He had lots of time, and I remember getting frustrated. We were on our way somewhere, we had to
Never have a
delay.
knot at the bottom,
Background
and
is
then
because
put
he
your
was
hair
he was a very caring
into
person.
the
And you
hole.
obviously loved that.
Yes.
That comes through very strongly.
Don't do
Can you describe the man
You make it like
who
upside
killed
down.
your father as a friend? I think a lot of people will,
Pretty commercial.
I guess, admire it, but
Like, you're not gonna be able to get out of that dream.
That was actually
Isn't that?
Well, it's an unusual friendship, and we don't really have the right words in English language to describe it because it's a friendship.
I was guessing it was
based
going to
on
be a 50-minute
because of what he
video.
did.
I think it
That's
would
not
be.
going to go away. He's always going to be the man who planted the bomb. But he's also the man who's, for the last 24 years, been in dialogue with me. You know, and I'm not an easy option for him. You know, when he met me, he came with a sense of, well, I'm okay, I've got no problems, because I was part of the oppressed. And he had like a self-righteousness about him.
So when you first met,
Yeah.
you had no regrets then? You thought you'd done the right thing?
Yeah. Yeah, and I
It's
knew.
a bit hard for you to hear that.
No, I knew. I kind of did my own preparation by asking, speaking to other
Ooh, a
people
pause.
who are
Oh, no. I'm sure.
compassion and empathy and deepening our humanity, and also recognition of 40 years of being on this crazy journey I've been on and revisiting some of the places I've been. And so the first event is going to be on the 16th of October in London at St James's Church, where is the place I made that decision. And I'm going back there with Patrick McGee in collaboration with the Forgiveness Project, which is an amazing charity.
It also spins
And
my hair.
Patterson
It
is
like
going to be our
like
facilitator.
So you
twists
in the
this
church,
way.
yeah, sitting side by
While I'm
side,
sleeping, and I like rolled on it.
killed your dad.
So it's not.
And then
And it's twisted.
Probably really emotional to go back to the place because the 27-year-old me that said I'm going to understand and bring something positive. You know, I never thought that this would happen. And
Okay.
obviously, I wished my father had never been killed, but I'm grateful for the opportunities that I've been given and created as well, and the things that I've learned. I couldn't have learned any other way. And so being back at church with Patrick and really feeling what's this mean for both
Like in the
of us
back,
to
it was
be
like
there
kind
as
of like
well.
a thinner knot.
To,
It's like
what is it that we learn
really
is
easily if I just
sometimes
do this part.
challenging dialogue.
You must be quite proud of that 27-year-old.
Yes, I am. I can sometimes feel a bit hard on her because she didn't have a clue. But actually, I had that focus, and yeah, I am proud of her. And for me, it's about is there a way that I can turn what's happening into positive and
Not at all.
you know, I do
That's
wake
not-
up every
It
morning.
doesn't say. It
and
doesn't
still
make
think,
sense. Like,
I
you
want
know
to
what I
do
mean?
more. I haven't
And
finished.
it
and that's why
doesn't.
this year. So
And it's very
not
weird.
like
My
I'm
brain
very
was like
tired
really
of this.
offended
I want to stop,
that I did
but I
this.
want this year really to be. And I said the world we need it. We need more examples of doing things differently. We need more compassion and kindness and what I call unbounded empathy. So that's my plan.
The third one behind it, like it's one knot. I mean one lot, but it's like a depth of a knot of a lock. I mean, and so that's like lock one, and then
Had a great weekend
next to
after
it
Black Life in
is lock
Westminster on
230.
Monday at 7 p.m. Bye for now.
So we can get a quarter of the hair that came out.
There's always more to the news than a headline. We want to discover, delve a little deeper to find out what's really going on. Explanation, analysis.
Another hair tied
at
together.
the heart of every story. I'm Neil Patterson, and this is the Sky News Daily Podcast. So, by the end, you'll hopefully all understand what's going on in the world just that little better. Available wherever you get your podcasts.
We've got your Sunday mornings covered. From the front page, sounds of the streets, to the voices of the people who make the major calls, and big picture politics beyond Westminster. We'll put you as part of our story. From you start to Sunday. I'm ready. Are you? Join me, Trevor Phillips, Sunday mornings on Sky News.
Dang, Los Angeles is hotter than Guatemala right now. I want to separate the left and right side of the book. Because all of them are a couple of dreams. We're going to go with this one right here. Because doing that might be the process. Let's do this. The basic understanding of the map system as their natures, separate natures. It's literally one shroud. Oh, not a shroud. I'm not sure that's called like 10 strands together, but they're not a lot. I mean, they are themselves one units with 10 strands. That Weather Channel song. I like your financial effects. I really do.
Hello, it's 5 o'clock. I'm Jane Secco. This is the News Hour. 60 minutes of news, interviews and analysis. We'll begin right now with the top stories this hour. Breaking news, £1 billion investment in Britain will go ahead despite a row over a minister's comments. We'll bring you the very latest.
I'm Mark Austin, live in Beirut this evening. The people of northern Gaza ordered to flee again, with reports more than 20 people have been killed in Israeli strikes on Jabalia. Here in Lebanon, a 5th UN peacekeeper is injured in gunfire. The country's former Prime Minister has this warning for Israel. Do you think these are war crimes?
Very much so. I mean, it's not the only ones. There are plenty of war crimes that have been already committed by Israel.
Also coming up this hour, a woman dies after going overboard from a cruise ship off the Channel Islands. No baby boom while UK's birth rate is declining. A sculptures unveiled in Leeds, celebrating 400 inspirational women who contributed to the city. And in sport, England captain Harry Kane returned from injury ahead tomorrow's crucial Nations League match.
I would. I'm really good at talking to people.
Hello, we start this evening with breaking news. A £1 billion investment in Britain by the international port operator DP World will go ahead as planned after a frantic effort by ministers and diplomats to try to repair relations. After a row prompted by comments from the Transport Secretary threatening to overshadow a crucial investment summit. Let's go straight to our business correspondent, Paul Kelso, who broke the story. Paul, frantic, it is the word for it really. What's been going on behind the scenes today and what has been secured?
Yes, it was just lunchtime yesterday when Sky News broke the news that this planned investment.
Every sip of a beer is like, you're right, that was totally bullshit.
On the Thames Estuary,
and it's beautiful.
coincide with the government Investment Summit on Monday was in doubt, under review formally, because of comments by Louise Hay, the Transport
Be a rogue
Secretary,
scaler.
in which she called P&O Ferries, a subsidiary of DP World, a rogue operator who was highly critical as she and the Deputy Prime Minister Angela Rayner introduced employment rights measures intended to prevent the repeat of the controversial fire and rehire measures P&O used so notoriously 2 years ago, coming at the same time as DP World was being asked to sign off a £1 billion investment. It caused the company to pull out of the chairman's attendance at the summit on Monday and put the investment on ice. Well, 24 hours of efforts by Downing Street and the Foreign Office have now put not just the attendance to the chairman, but I understand the investment itself is back on. Here's my report on that frantic 24 hours, which includes exclusive access to the London Gateway facility. It's the £1 billion investment the government decided it could not afford to lose. DP World's London Gateway poised for a huge expansion, but thrown down by criticism by ministers of the Dubai-based company's subsidiary.
And then one day I wake up and you're like, I'm late to work, and it's like I don't brush my hair.
Transport Secretary Louise Hay was slapped down by the Prime Minister, and a frantic 24 hours of diplomacy persuaded this man, DP World Chairman Sultan
I think in an hour and a half, I'll be like almost done with this side.
DP World told Sky News, following constructive and positive discussions with the government, we've been given the clarity we need. We look forward to participating in Monday's International Investment Summit. Earlier this month, Sky News was given exclusive access to London Gateway, which already handles almost 2 million containers a year. The planned investment will see capacity double and 400 jobs added to the 1,200 people already working here.
Every one of these 16 cranes is higher than Big Ben, and I think you really do get a sense of the scale of this operation. They already handle more than 1 million containers a year, and that's only going to grow. 2 new berths are going to extend this dock to almost 2 kilometres long. Precisely the sort of grand-scale investment the government needs to overhaul Britain's infrastructure. Deliver some growth.
This row has illustrated the tension at the heart of Sir Keir Starmer's government, the need to deliver investment, growth and social justice, and do it all without the chaos and embarrassment of recent days.
You had the Employment Rights Bill published last week, you've got the Investment Summit on Sunday, you've then got budget coming up, and this new consensus programme for business, there's bound to be a few bumps along the way because you're moving from one way of doing things to a new way of doing things. And that's something that I hope our select committee will be able to scrutinise.
The Prime Minister is expected to personally welcome DP World's chairman to London on Sunday, hoping this storm has blown over. Paul Kelso, Sky News.
Political correspondent Liz Bates, who's in Westminster. Liz, much of the diplomacy going on behind the scenes to try and call this business back to the UK. What's been going on behind the scenes politically within the Labour Party?
Well, yes, and of course, Paul Kelso there beautifully showing us why all this diplomacy, as he said, has been going on behind the scenes, because there has been so much at stake. I think what we've seen happen in the last 48 hours really encapsulates how difficult it is to move from opposition, where you can say whatever you like, into government, where your words have very serious consequences. And what has happened is the Transport Secretary, Louise Hay, and
see my hand, you
to a
said
lesser
stop
extent,
like
the
that?
Deputy Prime
That's
Minister,
proof I
Angela
don't have to.
Rayner,
That
have
is
been
also
very
proof.
critical of P&O Ferries, as they have been now for many years,
I
because
am not
back
the
in
one
March
who's doing
2022, that company fired almost
I know,
800 of
the
its
first thing I do
workers
is
with
put a
immediate
call about paying
effect,
taxes.
breaching UK law at the time because they didn't consult with the unions. Now, there's been a big effort by their parent company, DP World, to try to re-establish and improve its reputation since that point within the UK. And this £1 billion investment that will be announced now, we've had confirmation of that from Paul Kelso there on Monday, was very much part of that. That was all put in jeopardy by comments from the Transport Secretary that she said that she had been boycotting the company since that moment. So it looks like frantic efforts behind the scenes, led by number 10 from the highest level, to try to offer an olive branch. It sounds like the red carpet will be rolled out for the DP World CEO to get things back on track ahead of that very important summit on Monday. And now we know that not only would DP World CEO be there, he had been threatening not to come
but that £1 billion investment into the UK looks like it will be announced. So all those efforts have paid off.
Okay, no, thanks very much. Well, let's cross to the Middle East, where Mark Austin has the latest from there.
Thanks very much, Jay. Good evening from Beirut. As another United Nations peacekeeper has been injured in gunfire from a thus far unknown source here in Lebanon, the fifth in the last 3 days. Today, the country's former Prime Minister has told me that attacks on US peacekeeping forces could amount to war crimes. We'll bring you that interview in just a moment. It comes as Israel has issued a series of evacuation orders in both Lebanon and Gaza as it continues its military offensives. The Israeli military has ordered 23 villages in southern Lebanon to evacuate and move north of the Awadi River. It's also renewed its evacuation orders in Gaza, where Palestinians are being told to leave parts of Gaza City's Sheikh Radwan area and the Jabalia refugee camp, where at least 20 people are reported to have been killed overnight. 3 main hospitals in the area have also been ordered to evacuate patients and medical staff. People are being told to head south to Al-Wazi, an area in southern Gaza which has been designated a humanitarian zone. Sky's International Affairs editor Dominic Waghorn has this report. Yet again, the people of Jabalia are fleeing, ordered south as Israelis launch a third offensive in this area since the war began.
It was without warning, no warning whatsoever. They dropped barrel bombs on us. My brother's son and daughter both martyred. His grandson now. The daughter flew out the building window. They were all torn apart into pieces. All martyrs, all martyrs.
We just got in the truck and drove off, barely able to carry our belongings and some water. There are no rooms for us to shelter in. We have nowhere to go.
There's no cat here.
They're fleeing this, one Israeli attack after another. Israel's war in Gaza is on repeat. Unable to destroy Hamas completely, critics fear they're now trying to empty northern Gaza of its residents. Israelis are hunting their enemies in Lebanon too. More airstrikes in Beirut, some of the deadliest since the start of the invasion. Into all this flew the Speaker of the Iranian Parliament, quite literally, apparently landing his own plane, before touring the site of one of Israel's latest attacks and pledging Iran's undying support for his bomb.
Maybe I'll finish this
In Tel
tomorrow.
Aviv, Israel's biggest city, calm and quiet. The country was on hold on Yom Kippur, the Jewish Day of Atonement. Time for reflection for Israelis, but also their government, as it ponders its next move against Iran. In retaliation for this, Iran's second ballistic missile attack over a week ago. Among the options, strikes on Iran's alleged nuclear facilities, but that could be counterproductive, pushing the Iranians to work faster to build the
I never
bomb,
go to the grocery store.
or against economic
I'm
targets
supposed
like
to
the oil
eat fruit
industry,
because
that
I've
could
been
push up
back.
the price of oil at risk of global
Talking about that.
recession. Or Israel
And,
might attack symbols of the Iranian regime, the hated security
But I also want
forces
Papa John's.
who so brutally crushed recent protests. Each plan comes with a risk of escalation.
I don't know if
Israel
there is a
seems
Papa John's
determined
around here.
to
There might
strike
even
back
be
with
one.
force, hoping to deter
Which would
Iran from doing
impede
this
my
again.
ability to get
Dominic Waghorn, Sky News, Tel Aviv. And Dominic joins me now from Tel Aviv. Dominic, we'll talk about Iran in just a moment, but just on Gaza, there are these suggestions that the Israeli plan is to clear out the north of Gaza to evacuate it, to tell people to go south, and that treat those that remain as
it depends on what their specials are. We'll see. I think I only have $50 for like a week. So
yeah, I think that is the suspicion mark, and there's a sense that the war in Gaza is kind of on a sort of tragic, never-ending loop, because this area, Jabalia, which is
Times, like,
one of the refugee camps in the north of Gaza. It was a refugee camp decades ago. It's now a very densely populated area of buildings and cinder block apartments. That area has been the focus of military activity launched by the Israelis 3 times now. So they're now embarking on their third ground offensive there.
My head is literally this big.
Since the war began, and so they're ordering people there to move again. And the frustration for the Israelis is that they're not doing as they're told, and those that did move before have gone back to their homes, as you might expect. And people simply can't leave because their loved ones, their vulnerable relatives are still there. And so the people stuck there are now the focus of being caught in these airstrikes and in these places like the school that was hit a few days ago, the Israelis say that was a command and control centre for Hamas. They've not really presented much evidence of that, and a lot of people died there, and another location, including a number of children. Horrendous pictures that came out of there of dead babies, of dead toddlers being held up, their legs blown off. I mean, some of the worst pictures we've seen. And this is just going on and on a kind of repeat, and the problem for these people.
CBS News 20%.
This family store. And the facade has changed a little bit. They've shut the post office down, but that's the original building. The way I grew up was really trained for politics. I hear people say, well, I know marginalized people. When I think around marginalized people, you were a poor black person living on the Mississippi River, and you're a person with leprosy, but you're going to tell me about marginalized people? That's all I ever knew.
Is that Carville or is that Carr?
The youngest
So many bubbles.
Carville learned the art of salesmanship from his mom, who sold encyclopedias.
I
didn't know.
I having
Have you ever known a male from Louisiana that wasn't
Bud Light Platinum. It's the platinum of beer. I don't know if that's a slogan, but they should use that. You have my permission.
It took this mama's boy a little while to fully find himself.
How isn't that their slogan on there? The one that's
I
platinum.
worked in the bank, enlisted person in the Marine Corps, I went to law school, I worked in the mayor's
It did.
office.
It made me forget everything that was
I think
complaining
by the
about.
time that I was ready to do politics,
Was on
I was pretty well trained in life. Took a job in 1986 working for a man named Bob Casey.
Those local campaign wins landed the big one.
You are the new Wonder Boy.
That national spot with Bill Clinton. It also caught the eye of Republican strategist Lee Atwater, who dispatched his own chief of staff, Mary Madeline.
People had vested in me somehow or another that I was the savior. Because it's true, but
You were hot.
I was hot, yeah.
If you don't think for a narrow second that
Mary's been appointed the deputy campaign manager in charge of all field operations.
She was hot too.
Very. But she was a very, very well-known figure.
I want to make money in the stock market. I bought a book about it.
Sparks flew.
And I saw online that there was like some classes for finances that actually teach about
Because of
our celebrities. The private lives of this political odd couple fascinated and perplexed the public.
you only want to have a national dialogue. I'm not having this conversation.
It was
Peers
a scam.
get out on the campaign trail
That's what I was
and
bothering
national
because
TV
my
may have pushed
scalp is
them
like
to the limit.
like releasing all of like
you gotta have a fight in there.
like knots. It's like growing a little tiny bit.
Torture each other in perpetuity, and there we came perilously close, but we were not getting divorced.
And have been married for more than 30 years.
One week I was like,
I mean, I'm always excited.
I was like, you know what?
Come up in New York.
I'm gonna grow my hair. And my hair grew 1 inch that week. I was like, dang. My hair can grow a whole inch if I just be like, you know, I'm gonna grow my hair
For
right
Carville,
now.
when it comes to
Like that, and just like
elections,
keep that
he takes
idea in my head in the back
and
of my mind.
strides.
Like it would
Are
just
you
start
excited
to.
about the race?
That's great.
I can't get excited because I'm trying to win. And people always ask me, James, who do you think's gonna win? I said, every minute I'm thinking about who's gonna win. I'm not thinking about how to win.
Win or lose, don't ever expect him to change.
Just, I always wanted to be James Carville, and I actually got to be James Carville.
That is the best advice in the
Right.
Be you, do you.
And then I got to be me. So why would I want to be somebody else?
For certain. I love this unfiltered approach to everything.
And think about it. A year ago, he was sounding the alarm. We need somebody else to be at the top of the ticket, and here we are. He led that charge. I just have to say that I really wanted to see more of Mary Madeline.
Because I'm gonna brush my
So
back.
maybe she
I
did.
need to
They are, but I
do
think
my
she
ends.
really has an incredible life
like a little
story.
secret.
Here's my
I'm
pitch
only gonna cut
for her to go back in.
Make the flip.
Like
There it
my
is.
hair is like
Great conversation.
gonna be like
Coming up, we've got
this.
tales from the director's chair, another black filmmaker and director Barry Sonnenfeld lets it all out in his
Like-
cheeky new memoir. We'll head behind the scenes to get the Hollywood secrets.
I'm just
You're
gonna
watching
like
CBS
Saturday morning.
I'm just gonna like take an individual strand and I'm just gonna cut the end off of that individual strand. Like I'm not gonna go like this, like they do, and just like cut it. I'm just gonna cut the very tiny most end off of it. A single one. Until it's all. Because when I was sleeping at the homeless shelter one day, some girl came up to me when I was sleeping and cut my hair while I was sleeping. And she cut a cool part. She cut my widow's peak, she cut it, and she cut the back of my hair, and all my hair was uniform at the time, and it was just like one piece that she cut, and it was like a big thick piece, and it was like so small, it was like just sticking out in the back where I couldn't fucking see it. I was like, why the fuck would somebody do that?
America Decides is your place for fact-based, unbiased.
That same girl was only poking in my back.
On the campaign trail. What do you say to those in your party?
This was just hard out here. You don't even know me from Adam. You don't know anything. I was so mad.
Right now, that are going to be driving your decisions. What would you say to those who say, look, that's just democracy?
This one not right here in the back. Oh, that's like a strong, proud. Okay, so this one's almost done actually. This one's
2024. Let us help you
decide.
America Decides on CBS News 24/7.
Stream our expanded 1-hour program Monday through Thursday at 5 p.m.
It pulls apart. Okay, this one. There it doesn't.
An original documentary.
I'm gonna get pizza. You know what I'm gonna do? Is I'm gonna go out. I'm gonna go to the dollar store and I'm gonna get some Jamaican beef patties because I have like 50 slices of what is it? American sliced craft cheese that I got from Sam's Club. It was a 72 pack, but I can only polish away 1 pack. So I have 50 slices of cheese in the fridge. I think I'm gonna go bad. So I just need some drinks.
The problem with all this AI is that it's unpredictable and uncontrollable. The choices we make now
I mean, instead of pizza, but then later on, before 6 o'clock, it's 11. No? We'll go to.
You're about to see American weapons in the hands of Mexican cartels.
A gun pipeline to Mexico. We are arming the cartels. 100%. No doubt about it.
I wish they just not by doing this because it feels like that's what's happening.
Something about this.
Like, I'm just doing the opposite.
A CBS reports exclusive.
Most Americans have no idea that we are effectively arming the enemy next door.
This is the story American people need to know. Arming cartels. Now streaming on the free CBS News app.
The Turlocks are gone and the treaty is signed.
Good work.
Dad, what about that position you promised me in Men in Black?
Still working on the Alien Affirmative Action Program. I'll keep you posted.
That's not what it's from.
That was not CGI. Moviegoers gasped back in 2002 when they saw Michael Jackson's cameo in this, Men in Black 2. But getting the King of Pop to deliver his lines correctly presented a real challenge for director Barry Sonnenfeld. Sonnenfeld shares that story and many more strange and hilarious in new memoir, Best Possible Place.
I think I saw Michael Jackson somewhere. He went to Dual Man and Harry Potter ones, but I broke them all.
Errol, good morning. Barry Sonnenfeld has proved himself as a master storyteller on the screen. And as we found out, he can spin a good yarn about the movie business. That's no problem taking on Hollywood heavyweights.
Just shoot the damn thing on account of
From science
How many
fiction
guns isn't dead, right?
to the supernatural,
Slow down! It's terrible when you stop it!
Barry Sonnenfeld's movies have grossed more than $2.5 billion worldwide.
He has an 80-foot tarantula. Yes, well, I'm coming to that.
There was absolutely no chemistry between Kevin Kline and Will Smith.
Attracting moviegoers has never been a problem. Now he's taking fans behind the scenes, sharing stories from decades as a Hollywood filmmaker.
I wanted to make it that they never took their car.
In his second memoir, titled Best Possible Place,
It's like
Which
an hour and a
possible
half.
time
If it comes to an hour and a half
back,
video,
how would you describe Hollywood to an
I
outsider?
just like tied it
Is
back into a
high
funny
school
film,
with
and then
my
like went
it's
outside
sort
to
of a
go
hard
like
place
Jamaican
to
beer.
work.
Why did you want to write this book?
My publisher said, we want you to write another book, but this one, A, entirely about Hollywood and your career, and B, we want a lot of short chapters that people can read on the toilet. So, and also because I'm 71, I'm semi-retired, I felt I could write honestly about various people that I've worked with, both actors and studio executives, that I might have held back if I was 40, but at this point I'm letting it out.
Letting it out by revealing what really went into making some of his hit movies, like 1995's Get Shorty. What was going on with John Travolta?
I have never worked with any actor that loved being a movie star more than John Travolta.
Ray Bones took my coat? No, he didn't take it. He borrowed it.
Unfortunately, John's strength is not in memorizing. We ended up using cue cards with John.
Cue cards.
Cue cards all over the set.
A solution that didn't sit well with Travolta's co-star, Gene Hackman.
In fact, one day John said to me, we were shooting, and John said, where are we starting from, Barry? But Hackman would say, right there, John, right where your cue card is.
I make this look good.
When it came to working with Will Smith, he describes their relationship as close but complicated.
I did 3 Men in Blacks and Wild Wild West with Will. The problem with Will is he's like a giant Great Dane puppy. He's got way too much energy and he hasn't been trained well. So we got into this game of punching each other. And after 2 days, I got so angry. I said, I'm going to hurt this guy. And I really thought about it. And I punched his shoulder so hard.
Your leading man.
My leading man, but I know I can't hurt this guy. I broke my 5th metacarpal in 5 places.
Would you consider him like a brother?
Yeah, I would consider him a brother. I'm an only child, so I don't know what a brother would be like, but it would probably be someone who punched me a lot.
Seinfeld's memoir takes readers through his career, beginning as a cinematographer on the Coen brothers' debut, Blood Simple, to working his way up to A-list projects like When Harry Met Sally.
Oh, God. Oh.
I'll have what she's having.
Did you know at this point this was going to be an iconic scene?
We knew it would be funny because Meg is so good and it's so well written, and Meg's performance is amazing.
Nice.
And big. This is one of my all-time favorite scenes.
It was a hard day. We only had 1 day to shoot at the famous FAO Schwartz. When we shot this, no one knew that it would be iconographically very similar to When Harry Met Sally's orgasm scene is. If you say big, this is the scene everyone remembers.
Always. When did you know?
We didn't know until the premiere of the movie. So in this scene, when the car goes upside down, that piece there was shot on blue screen, the two of them in that hermetically sealed area, and on the first day, the first take, Will Smith farted. And we had to get Tommy out of there fast because they were totally sealed in that tiny little space.
Sonnenfeld doesn't shy away from his tangles with industry insiders, including how he lost out on directing the mega hit Forrest Gump.
In the book, Forrest Gump is sort of a fat guy. He's sort of a big, strong, overweight guy. And I said, I know who should play this. It should be Tom Hanks. And what we should do is make him like a runner.
I decided to go for a little run.
Hanks loved it.
But Sonnenfeld clashed with the studio executive and left Gump
I just had a baby. Oh my gosh. Just had her. Her eyes look a little red. Oh, do you want to see mine? I have the cutest picture of my baby. Oh, you do? From inside. Did you get like the 3D one? She looks so cute. Oh. She looks like she has full makeup on. Can you see her? Oh my god! Doesn't she really look like that? It looks like she has like a full set of like lashes. Everyone has said that. Oh my god, that's crazy.
This looks like it's going to be fun.
La Houla is open for business.
You got this camera on me.
We're seeing the annual summer spike of COVID cases with more people inside because of the heat and traveling during time off. Cases have risen a bit, but how does this variant compare to others over the past few years? AAFP board member Dr. Keisha Davis joins us. Dr. Davis, thanks for stopping by Local News Live. What are the recommendations from doctors as these cases go up?
Good morning. Thank you for having me. Yes, I'm a family physician. And just yesterday, CDC updated its recommendations around the COVID-19 flu and RSV vaccinations. They have changed the recommendation for RSV. So for folks who have not had the RSV vaccination previously, they are now recommending that everybody over 75 should get vaccinated for RSV, and those between the ages of 60 and 75 should be vaccinated if they're at high risk or living in a nursing home. And I think that makes that recommendation a lot more clear. Last year, the recommendation was for shared decision making, which means have a conversation with your family physician on the risks and benefits for whether or not to get RSV. This year, they're saying the benefit clearly outweighs the risk for RSV, and they're strongly recommending that folks in those groups get the recommendation.
Dr. Davis, family physicians, you're the first line of defense. You're the ones that are talking to patients, trying to encourage them to get whatever help they need to stay healthy. How do you help them build confidence in vaccines?
Well, you know, there's a lot of misinformation out there about vaccines, and taking the time to speak with your family physician about it really can help weed through all the noise. Your family physician gives you care in the context of you, so they can take into account what are the medical conditions that you have, what's your life situation, who's in your household, to really help you understand why vaccines would be beneficial for you. What we do know is for folks who have gotten vaccinated against RSV, COVID, flu, they have fared much better than those who haven't. And especially when we look at COVID-19 vaccinations, those who got vaccinated were much less likely to be in the hospital, to have severe illness, or to die from COVID-19.
Great reasons to get vaccinated. Now, we're seeing, as we have about 30 seconds left, the numbers have gone up a little bit in summertime. Is this what you expect because of the temperatures and people staying inside?
You know, every year we've seen a little bit of a summer spike, and we're seeing that this year. I think the thing that is reassuring is that we aren't seeing disease that is more severe, but we do recommend folks to take precautions. If you are somebody who is high risk, this may be time to wear a mask or try to keep your activities outside. Take those extra precautions. Take a COVID test if you're concerned. But an important thing to remember, the CDC has recommended that